Welcome to Her Voice. Today we have Anna Dabrowski, a certified hypnotherapist, a Reiki master, and a life coach. And the most amazing thing about Anna is that she went from a very grounding career into a very spiritual world, and she's now helping and empowering a lot of people to live the best of their lives. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much, Eva, for having me in such a beautiful surroundings. I just love yourself, Kate.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here because there's a lot of mystery about the spiritual world, and I thought you would be the perfect person to break it down to us so you get the fear out and you explain in simple human terms what it is that you do.
Thank you so much. So my passion, my mission is to empower people to change in life, anything that obstructs them, holds them back, and give them tools so they can move.
It's incredible when we get rid of our limitations, the strides that we can make,
Yes.
right? The limitlessness that comes upon us, that we can just act out of love instead of fear. So tell us a little bit separately about those practices. So life coaching sort of integrates into the practice. But I've done a hypnotherapy with you, and that was incredible. You just like I didn't think, and I meditate, and I know how to get into like that state, but that was incredible. I was hypnotized within minutes. Talk that.
Well, so maybe I will explain a little bit how I see hypnotherapy, so everyone can really understand there is lots of myths and fears about the hypnosis on the market. So everyone can think, and the mind is always running, constantly running and doing things. And sometimes the mind can slow down. Sometimes we do things and the mind is somewhere else. So when we experience those states, those are natural states of hypnosis. When we do things and we don't remember how we've done it. So it's a very natural state for your mind actually to experience. Your mind like it. That's the only time when your mind slows down and does something else. So in hypnotherapy, we take this state and we focusing your mind towards what we want to work upon. So I always tell to my clients, like, imagine that your mind is that core computer, that hardware which runs everything on your computer. So it runs our behaviors, it runs how we judge ourselves, how we judge others, how we create things, how we limiting ourselves. And if we can change those programs, we can change everything in our life.
And you're right, our mind sort of runs us, but it's we don't understand that we can actually help it run us to the right direction, right? And when you talk about hypnosis and about not knowing how you do it, I always relate to it as when you get into your car and you drive to a destination and you have no idea how you got there, but you sort of got there. That's sort of like a hypnotic state, right? Because your mind is active, but you're not really, it's wandering, it's somewhere else.
That's exactly what it is, because we drove so many times before that actually who's driving the car? It's your subconscious mind driving the car. So we have two parts of the mind. We have conscious mind and subconscious mind, and to surprise to many people, the subconscious mind is actually 88% of our mind. That's where the program sits. That's what everything is orchestrating. So you're going to drive the car, you're going to cook, how you're going to cook, how you're going to dress up, how you're going to put your makeup on. Everything is registered there. There is registration for, how successful I'm going to be, or can I have a good relationship, or am I worthy of something? Am I important to myself? And if we can change that, the life will change. In traditional therapies, we may go and just open the wounds and look whose fault is for what, who said what.
Point fingers.
Yes, that goes nowhere, because actually in spirituality it's very important to understand that we are responsible for creation of our life. And our mind creates our reality. Every moment the mind is thinking. We are never free of thinking, okay? And what the mind is thinking, that's what the emotions are coming forward. And we connect based on emotions. So basically changing those ideas, those belief systems, expanding those belief systems, that's what allows us to have different life.
It's amazing. I agree with you. And when you guided me through that hypnotherapy, you connected me with my inner child. And it was an incredible visual that you gave me that helped me walk that journey. It's almost like you were the one directing my mind through this state. And there was a lot of healing. Tell us a little bit about testimonials, like a few examples, maybe what customers have to say.
So I had a client who came with very disturbed relationship with a mother, and she was not talking to her mom. It was kind of abusive relationship in a childhood. So they were drifting apart, and yet she want to have this conversation with mom. She want to be accepted and loved by her mom. So versus just thinking and going backwards again, we started working through inner child. That's one of the most favorite therapy when we actually do the whole therapy of inner child, when we reconnecting with the innocent you inside of you and the beautiful emotions of innocence and joy. So she started going through the therapy and reconnecting with herself, finding that life can be joyful, that she needs to accept herself. Doesn't matter what people think, doesn't matter who else accepts her. It's important that she accepts herself. And actually she gained courage, and she went back and visited her mom. They have very difficult conversations, and they both reconnected. Mom opened herself to her. Initially, mom denied everything. So she called me and she said, I'm disappointed, we don't have conversation. And then she said, well, my mom actually called me for lunch, and she opened and she started talking about her childhood, her abuse, and why she did it, and she apologized. Wow. And that was the most profound for my client, to hear the apology. Shortly after, her mom was diagnosed with cancer, and they became very close, and she passed away. And my client will tell you right now, she will say that this was the best she's ever done, because she had for a moment the mother she never had before, and now she's empowered and strong to be a better mother for her own children, and she's confident within herself. No one needs to accept her, she accepts herself.
That there's a lot of power there. That's beautiful. What a great, incredible story. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I know you also do healing. So hypnotherapy is a great way to get to unlock some of those traumas and help deal with them and move on. And then tell us about Reiki, because Reiki is also starting to gain popularity. You know, it's sort of like the first healing modality. When we think of energy healing, we say, oh, you do Reiki. People don't know anything, they know Reiki. And it's transmuting the life force through you into the person. And, you know, tell us about that. How are you acting as a channel, and how?
So actually this is very interesting, because I changed myself with Reiki. I found hypnotherapy a little bit later, and I was like, yay, okay. So it's an interesting story, if I may, that when I found myself in a corner in my life, not knowing which way I'm gonna go, what am I gonna do, my marriage wasn't going the way I wanted, nothing in my life was as I wanted, I was very disturbed and thinking, what am I going to do? Who am I in this life? What do I like? And then Reiki literally walked into my house in a posture of my master being invited to my house in Las Vegas for Thanksgiving dinner. And she was just visiting from Poland. And I felt this beautiful peace from her. I felt this harmony, like when she walked into the room, we all got chills, and was like wonderful. And I was like, whatever this woman does, that's what I'm gonna learn. So I kind of jumped into it because I felt it. No one needed to convince me. And I'm actually devoted to Reiki. For the last, now it's gonna be almost 20 years, I practice every day on myself. There is 5 precepts: just for today, do not worry; just for today, do not get angry; just for today, work honestly; just for today, be grateful; and just for today, honor every living being. So just going a little bit to the side, look what it is, just for today. And today we're talking about mindfulness. So yeah,
stay in the moment.
Yes, be in the moment. And years ago, by repeating those precepts, I changed myself. I also work with subconscious mind through Reiki. There is a method how you can work on subconscious mind with Reiki. But the change was dramatic and fantastic, but it took almost 3 years. Systematic work every day. So when I actually was ready to empower and help others, I started searching for faster way. We are fast society. Everyone wants everything fast. And I realized no one is going to work 3 times a day for 3 years to change something about the same.
I know, I start everything with a passion and then drop it a week or two later.
So I started searching, and then when I came across hypnosis and hypnotherapy, I just fell in love. It was just like, oh my gosh, I found exactly what I need to do.
Passion.
And I followed the passion. And what I want to mention, there are also different variations of hypnotherapy I do, and my absolute passion is therapeutic imagery.
What is that?
That's utilizing hypnosis. So you go into this beautiful, deep, relaxing state, and we're asking your subconscious mind, what is the obstacle? What holds you back? And once this is brought to the surface, it's gone.
Interesting. Amazing what awareness can do, right? Once you know, you can't unknow.
Exactly, yes.